Hello, everyone. Today I will be sharing my experience with fixed gear. I've been riding now fixed gear for a year and 8 months. Not very long. I still very much consider myself a beginner. This video could help anyone thinking of switching, or maybe you are a beginner right now. So I will share things that helped me, where to practice in New York City, why I even switched. A lot of people think it's like, why would you switch to a bike you have to pedal 24/7 without brakes? But to me, it reminds me a lot of skateboarding. I have always skateboarded all my life. I've always biked all my life. I definitely was always cycling, but never took it serious. I never cared what bike I was using. So let's get into why I switched. I was inspired by the film Premium Rush. I was, and I am, a big fan of Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the actor. So I was like, wow. Ignorantly, I'm like, if he could do it, I could definitely do it. So I quickly found out that there were actually three stunt doubles for Premium Rush, and one of them is a professional bike messenger, which is crazy that we live in a world that we could have a professional bike messenger. Professional bike messenger. I mean, what a time to be alive. I think that's amazing. Also, when I hit my 30s, I started to feel like I wasn't living enough. So I wanted to start trying things that I maybe wanted to try in my teen years, 20s. And I was like, maybe I should try it now. I mean, I'm pretty sober. I got mental health help. I felt better mentally, right? And I also wanted to find a way to be more present. I found myself whenever I was cycling that I would space out when I was on a single speed freewheel setup. So I was like, you know what? I want to get into meditation. I want to get more centered. I want to be a better human. I want to be present. So I finally started to try fixed gear. And I quickly realized how much you do need to be present. So my relationship with bikes, though, throughout life has always been there. I've always definitely loved cycling since I was a kid. When I first got a bike, I remember feeling like I could be independent now. I could go anywhere. Cycling is the best way to travel in New York City for free. So that's kind of my background when it comes to cycling. It's always been there as commute, as transportation. So let's talk about what bike to use. So for me, I used a single speed bike pretty much all my life. I never had a bike with gears. I never had any of that. I didn't even care about what size or what anything meant. I just thought if the bike works, that's good enough for me. So for many years, I just used any bike. I remember buying a state bicycle bike that was under $200. I used that for like 10 plus years, and then I bought another state bicycle. I did purchase my first fixed gear bike through State Bicycle. And also it was under $300. And I feel like everyone should start with an affordable bike. You could switch the parts and not spend a lot. Their parts are so affordable. I learned a lot through going to bike shops and them telling me what I should get. I learned a lot through you guys. You viewers would tell me what to get, what should I switch to. Later on, I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to make my first bike. So, starting from scratch, getting every little piece, and I made mistakes. I did really silly mistakes, like thinking crank sets are like universal. It is what it is. I made that mistake. Quickly learned that every bottom bracket is different. So, I learned by just trying, and even you guys telling me like, "Oh, that won't fit." I remember all the comments that you guys gave me, and I wrote it all down. I took screenshots, took the notes, went to bike shops, asked them what's correct, what's not correct. I kept experimenting, making mistakes, like thinking crank sets have a universal fitting, which would be nice if that existed, but it doesn't. Also, when it comes to buying a bike from State Bicycle, the crank set, the arms of the crank, they are always the size of 170. Pedaling was so much better with 165 instead of 170. So State Bicycle does tend to put all their bike setups with 170. I've learned that the size of things really does matter. Now I'm addicted to looking at bike parts and wanting to learn more and more and more. I love asking questions to bike mechanics and going to bike shops. They have taught me so much when it comes to what my bike should feel like or what would be more comfortable, what's better for your bones, what's better for this and that. There's really a science to everything when it comes to a bike. I love it. I love learning, and the best way to learn what type of bike, honestly, just go to your local bike shop thing. You don't want to use a bike that doesn't feel comfortable but looks very cool, in my opinion. So now I will get into practicing fixed gear. So I think the hardest part of fixed gear is stopping, right? There is a lot of videos when it comes to learning how to stop, how to skid. I did watch these two channels a lot, so I will share the channels that I did watch and where I learned a lot. I learned how to track stand through these people. I learned just watching it over and over. It's good to see biking as a science project. Everything is about positioning and balance. The bike kind of does the work for you in a weird way. So I do think that you have to create trust with your bike. I felt that when you do hands free, it kind of creates a trust with your bike and your body, because I was first starting and I felt myself really stiff, right? So I was like, all right, let me train myself to trust, more trust on my body, what my body's doing, instead of gripping on a handlebar tightly because of being scared. Or I was like, all right, let me try this thing of just hands free, hands free. Let me do a hands free boot camp for myself. 5 to 6 months, you can't touch your handlebars. Like, Sarah, start trusting your bike. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. So whatever, I started just hands-free cycling everywhere I went, everywhere. And I started to do every bridge. I would go up and then back down and then up and down every New York City bridge. Maybe not every bridge, all the main bridges that I usually take. I also took any little intersection like this one that's off the Kosciuszko Bridge, I believe. I would use that going up and then back down, and then going the opposite way, go up and then down. It mentally taught me to trust, to have trust in my bike. Hands-free cycling teaches that the balance, like, you don't create balance, you kind of go with the balance. Over controlling your bike is an enemy. It will backfire. So if you are a New Yorker and just started fixed gear, or you feel like you're just not getting it, I would say to start hands-free cycling, because naturally you start to depend more on your body. You naturally feel more balanced hands-free, and you start to realize that the front of the bike is always gonna cooperate with you and your body. And there's actually not a lot of effort when it comes to steering the front of the bike, right? The power is kind of more on the back of the bike. So psychologically starts to feel more of a balance that's not force, if that makes any sense. So New York City parks that I love, I started to go to Flushing Meadow Park. I think Flushing Meadow Park is a huge park that's a great place to learn, and it's pretty close to the velodrome. The velodrome I did go to a lot in the beginning, a bunch of times, circle around and then try to stop. I did get a couple slams. I mean, fixed gear, you are gonna fall. There is gonna be so much falling, and it gets better though. It gets better. But yeah, I think New York City is a great place to start fixed gear. You have so many big parks like Central Park, Prospect Park, Forest Hills, Van Cortlandt. I mean, you have one in almost every borough. And I also started going to Governor's Island. Governor's Island is such a fun place to just cycle. You don't have to worry about cars much. It's so beautiful to just bike in Governor's Island. The more I did the hands-free cycling, the more stopping felt more natural. And another way that I started to feel more comfortable when it came to riding fixed gear was riding with a group. Love group rides. I think it teaches people to feel safe in the street. I always saw group rides like a protest that cyclists are here and it's not just cars. I mean, it's so sad how drivers really hate cyclists. Like, I don't understand the hate. I do try not to compete with drivers. If a car wants to go faster, honestly, let them go faster. Let them be out of your sight. I would not try to go into war with a car or anything. There's a lot of drivers out there who just hate cyclists for some reason. I saw these bumper stickers once and I was like, really? That's why your car looks the way it looks. Why would you put those stickers? It's just, you have that much hate towards cyclists. I just don't get the hate. So I do hope every cyclist out there is safe. I hear too many sad stories when it comes to drivers hitting cyclists, and it's really sad. Wish us all some safety, because there are drivers like this who just target cyclists for no reason, just because they're so unhappy with their own lives. So if you didn't learn anything from this video, I do hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. This was my experience of 1 year and 8 months. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Right now, my camera kind of shuts off whenever it's too cold. I can't really film. I recently went to Staten Island and my camera started shutting off because it was too cold. I do judge myself for going to Staten Island in such a cold time of the year. And let me know what's new with you. I am currently building a new bike. I judge myself. I do judge myself because I really don't need a new bike, but I am getting a new frame and I'm kind of just switching what I already have. I did get a new stem and I might sell my Vendetta frame. So that's what's new with me. I have an addiction. It's so terrible, but I can't stop looking at bike gear, and it's a sickness. I have an addictive personality. So that's the bad thing about fixed gear. You can't help but want to build another bike. So let me know what you're building. Are you currently looking at any new bike gear? Let me know how the winter's treating you. And for anyone who has been following my New York City bike shop series, I am shooting it in 120 film, so I do need to get it scanned. So I don't have a scanner. So I am currently working at a photo lab to be able to then use the hours that I work to scan my film. Hopefully by the summer, I will have a bunch of pictures to share with you guys. It's gonna look really nice all together, and you will soon see my new bike. So thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.